Hey, yo, there you are. Pull up a milk crate or something. I'm gonna tell you about The Catcher in the Rye. Okay, so in short, Catcher in the Rye is a book about the world's first supreme gentleman, and it was written in the 1950s. Luckily, this time he's writing his edgy memoir from a sanatorium. Goddamn shame we closed all those down, isn't it? He spends the whole novel bitching about everything and feeling real superior to everyone around him. First, he gets kicked out of school for flunking most of his classes, but of course it's not his fault, just like it wasn't his fault the other three times, you know? Even his teacher that he likes is like, hey, yo, I like you and all, but I had to flunk you 'cause you're lazy as shit. And this just pisses him right off, right? Back in the dorms, he sits around being all passive aggressive with this annoying kid he don't like. Then he creeps on this older jock kid while he's shaving. Of course, at the end of it all, he concludes he is the better, cleaner, and the most romantic of all of these dudes. He's jealous of this handsome lad, though, and he gets into a little fight over this girl, you see, and the bigger kid's just holding our lead down. And he's like, look, dude, just chill, you started this. But in the end, he's got a bopping one. And our supreme gentleman leaves while crying about the Chads and the Stacys and holes up in a hotel downtown. On the ride over, he bothers the cab driver about some ducks. I have no idea either. At the hotel, he creeps on some more weirdos through the window. Some dude cross-dressing, a drunk couple spitting booze at each other. Just typical New York shit, but this kid's mind is blown. He reaffirms his edgy boy status, smokes with cigarettes a bit, and calls a stripper to see if he can get some casing on his sausage. But the booty call falls through because this boy's horny right now. So, desperate to get it in and prove his manhood, old Elliot Roger here goes down the bar downstairs, fails to order some booze, and he hits on some older broads. It goes about as well as you'd expect. They toy around with the boy, and then they send him on his way with a laugh, about what he deserved for thinking he had a chance with a woman his mother's age. All ass-sore about it, he goes to a jazz club, where he proceeds to get drunk and judge everyone he sees. On the ride over, he bothers this driver about the ducks. Again. This kid. He takes off when this broad his brother used to date notices him and invites him over. So, running back to his hotel, he orders a hooker and immediately pussies out when he gets a real live naked woman in front of him, just like every shit-talking 16-year-old ever. He refuses to pay her price, so she goes downstairs and gets his pimp to whop him one, then takes the money she wants from that little twerp. He calls a girl, makes a date, goes on a walk looking for his sister, and gives some nun some money. And just like the rest of this god-awful novel, basically fucking nothing happens for a while, then he goes on his little date. So on this date, this chick starts hitting on another dude, like right off the bat. But instead of ending it right there, Elliot Rogers here just bundles it up until he explodes later at a skating rink, crying to her about school, begging her to run away with him, then calling her stupid and berating her till she leaves. And he wonders why he gets no play. Well, he calls this old friend to him to meet him, bugs him about sex talk, and insults Chinese people, and this dude's dating a Chinese broad. Like I said, Elliot Rogers all over again. So he takes off, and in typical fashion, our hero proceeds to get drunk and call a girl at midnight. Well, drunk and stupid, he walks into the winter night to try and find these goddamn ducks he's on about. Well, freezing his ass off, he decides to just break back into his own family home, wakes his sister up, and even she's like, dude, you got kicked out of school like a moron, what is wrong with you? And even corrects the titular quote which he misheard or misremembered. He goes to his English teacher's house, falls asleep on the couch, and wakes up when this faggot is petting his head in his sleep. So he takes off to sleep at a bench at the train station where you're less likely to get molested than a boys' school English teacher's house, if you know what I'm saying. Like a teen girl writing an insincere suicide note, he sends his sister a note at school telling her he's running away from home forever. Surprise, surprise, she shows up with a suitcase and he's all like, no way! And they just go to the zoo and he watches her ride the carousel and cries in the rain. That's where it ends. He's in the nut house, but now he feels like, I don't know, maybe he'll be able to stop being such an edgy piece of shit and get at least the C averages he's capable of. And as long as this review was, you still saved some time, and I didn't even use that stupid Family Guy clip of the dude screaming phony, so toss a quarter in the hat or something. Thanks for listening and fuck off.